So I just got done taking the axle out of my Fiat Ducato, and it was a real pain in the butt compared to other axles I've taken out. So I thought I'd just kind of go through the process. I didn't find any other videos on YouTube about this subject. So just start from the beginning. You've got this thing on your wheel, and you're going to see that there are 4 small holes and 1 big hole. Basically what you do is you break and take out these, break free and take out these lug nuts, these 4 lug nuts. Then you can take this cover off, and that will expose the axle, the end of the axle with the nut on it. And then you put the the lug nuts back in, and then you're going to use a 50 millimeter socket like this with a breaker bar to take the nut off. But before you can do that, you have to unstake the nut. And what I mean is that when the nut is on here, they put the nut on, they hit it with a hammer next to these grooves. There's 2 grooves here that you can see, in order to keep the nut from being able to basically move and come off while you're driving. So you have to do is take like a very small flathead screwdriver and you shove it up in there, and then you can kind of lever up and bend these indentions out so that you'll be able to turn this. Okay, so once you've got that off, it's kind of a question. I would say if you've only got 1 jack instead of 2 like I have, what you probably want to do is you're going to want to go, before you jack the car up, and you want to go back in here, and the nut under here for the stabilizer arm, you're going to want to take that nut off first. And the reason for that, basically, is that in order to get the axle out, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to disconnect the knuckle, the steering knuckle here, from the control arm. And in order to do that, the pressure from the strut presses down on the control arm, and the stabilizer here holds it up, right? And so that makes it very difficult to get the knuckle off, because the way the knuckle is actually attached, it'd be kind of hard to see here. You can go up under here a little bit and try and shade this with my hand. You can see that there are 3 bolts that hold the steering knuckle onto the ball joint here. This ball joint and this little plate here are one piece, and then the steering knuckle is attached to it. What you do is you need to take and remove those 3 nuts. Alright. In order to get access to the 3rd one in the back, you're going to need to remove the tie rod end and turn this around like that, and then you'll be able to get to that 3rd nut there, right? Of course, you've jacked the car up by this point, but anyways, so once you've got the tie rod end, the stabilizer bar, and these nuts here disconnected, then what you have to do, there's like a little, it's hard, I don't know if you can see that there. There is a raised part on that plate, on the ball joint plate, right? And it prevents you can't just pull out. What you have to do is you have to push down the control arm with your foot, and then lift this up and off. Push it down. Hard to do. It's a bit hard to do with one hand. I can do it with 2 hands without any problem. But you just push the control. Ah, there, got it. All right. And then once that's off, then the axle comes out, and you can see here. You can see that thing right there. And of course, putting everything back is just the reverse process. You don't have to take off all the stuff that I took off. I just, like I said, I was trying to figure out what to do, so I just did a lot of unnecessary work. But that's basically the minimum that you have to do to get the axle out of one of these things. Hope that helps someone.